state of California facing off against the Trump administration in court today over the federalization of the California National Guard.
And assignment editor Mike Rogers at the desk now. You have more on what the Northern California judge is saying.
Yeah, Pat Rudabeh, the federal judge in Northern California being heard in San Francisco, says he is likely to reach a decision today. They made arguments a little bit earlier. I want to show you some sketches from inside this federal courtroom, with sketches because we're not allowed to record video inside of the federal courtroom. Now, the judge says today that the crux of the discussions were around a statute that stipulates the conditions under which a president is allowed to federalize the National Guard. One of them has to be that the country or the state has been invaded by a foreign nation, that there was a rebellion or danger of rebellion against the authority of the government or the United States, or that the president is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. Now, the judge today said he was skeptical that the president acted lawfully when he federalized the National Guard here in California. He pressed government lawyers on it, to which the government lawyers roughly responded that there is no constitutional requirement. The government is a conduit, saying that there is only one commander in chief, and that is the president. The judge also made a reference to the actions of the president, reflecting that more of a king, not a constitutional government. A rough quote from the judge was, "That's the difference between a constitutional government and a King George. It's a matter of the president or a governor following the law set forth in the statutes." Now, right now, that judge is mulling over whether or not he will rule in favor of the state of California, which sued the Trump administration over the federalization of the California National Guard that is now being used to protect federal buildings and assist immigration authorities with raids across Southern California. As soon as we have that decision, of course, we will bring it to you and any reaction that comes with it.
Okay, Mike, thank you.
Well, KCAL News reporter Michelle Geely continues our team coverage from Seal Beach, where the Marines have been training. Michelle.
Pat Rudabeh, you can see behind me that a few dozen locals here in Seal Beach have been demonstrating in front of the main gates of the Seal Beach Naval Weapons Station, where Marines have been training, as you said, before they join up with the National Guard troops in LA and Orange County. The demonstrators want to show their displeasure with the federal government's handling of the immigration actions and their anger over bringing U.S. Marines to protests and putting them face to face with fellow citizens.
That's right. That's just really upsetting to have Americans being pitted against other Americans. That's just going to divide us, and it will take decades to repair that damage.
It appears that the Marines will support the National Guard within the next 48 hours. U.S. Northern Command posted on its website that approximately 700 Marines from 29 Palms have completed training. Our helicopter got video of the troops at Seal Beach Naval Weapons Station around 12:30 today in civil disturbance training. Some Marines posed as agitators. Others held a skirmish line in helmets, holding shields and batons. The website says the Marines will not be arresting protesters. That's law enforcement's job. But Marines can detain people. Their mission is to protect federal officers and federal property. Now, we saw military transport vehicles also lined up on the base here, but no movement yet. The military will not give specifics when people in Southern California might start seeing U.S. Marines in their towns and in their neighborhoods. Live in Seal Beach, I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
Michelle, thank you.